What's up, YouTube? I'm Robert, and you're watching the B1KER Bar Podcast. Back to the original question. So, what is Can'dAid? How's it work? How do you guys select the?
So, Can'dAid is a nonprofit organization. We do a bunch of donations to underprivileged kids. So they have one division that does musical instruments, which is a huge one because Oscar Blues and Can'dAid does a lot of work with musical artists.
Oh, that's cool.
They'll go into schools and donate musical equipment or musical instruments.
Yeah.
Which is pretty awesome. And then that's under their Tunes program. And then they have one called Tread the Trails, which is trying to get kids away from the screen and active. So that started out as bikes. But now we've also been doing skateboard donations too, which is pretty awesome.
Sweet.
So we'll go in and we'll donate bikes to an entire first grade class or skateboards to an entire first or second grade class.
Have you put little clips of that on something? I feel like I've seen it. Yeah.
I put it on my YouTube channel all the time and unfortunately nobody watches it.
I really no, I felt like I've seen it before, and it's just like I can't imagine how rewarding that feels to like go in there and give those kids bikes. Like I would be like crying and shit, dude. It would get me all emotional.
It's absolutely amazing because I mean, I grew up, pretty middle class, but there's always stupid shit you can get into, whatever. Bicycling was always like my compass. If I could always be doing something stupid, but I'd just get on my bike and kind of stay out of trouble, other than getting hassled by the cops for like grinding a curb or something. But it was always like a good moral compass, whatever, positive use of your energy, whatever. So to be in a situation where I've helped Can'dAid even build that program a little bit, like through some industry partnerships and stuff like that, and be the one to go into the schools and give kids the same opportunity that I had, fortunately, because my dad just bought me my first bike. But a lot of these kids aren't in that position. They're usually Title I schools, so they're low income schools. So we're going in and we're giving kids the opportunity.
Oscar Blues just like donates a certain amount of money, and you guys like buy the bikes and then just show up and.
So Oscar Blues, so that's where things are a little bit different now. A few years ago, Oscar Blues owned Reeb and it controlled Can'dAid and stuff like that. But then Oscar Blues got sold 3 years ago. So now we're all independently operated. So we're all like best friends, but we're not under one umbrella anymore. So Reeb stands on its own as its own company, brand. Can'dAid is its own nonprofit organization, and now Can'dAid has grown a lot. So we have tons of private fundraisers. When my bike stuff got stolen last year, I did a big fundraiser. There's a lot of private,
I remember seeing that.
A lot of private fundraising. We even worked.
You raised like $20,000 for that, didn't you?
$27,000, which was freaking
sick,
awesome.
Man. That's so
really
cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the most rewarding things I've ever done.
Yeah.
Like I kind of like when it happened, like all my shit got stolen. It was $25,000. I had all kinds of messages like, "Hey man, let us help you out." And I was like, I don't think I'm gonna need help. I think I'll be good with my sponsors and my insurance. Like, give me a couple months to figure this out. And like once I got like back on my feet, I was like, all right, everybody offered to help me. I'm gonna hold you to it. Like, you're all willing to help me. Now let's see if we could actually do this. And at first I was like, oh yeah, we could raise 25,000. And then I started like looking around the landscape and seeing like how hard it is for people to raise that much money.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, this is going to be actually really hard. But everybody came through. Everybody came through. And, there were so many people like Joe from Mr. Tonka MTB. Like he raised over $1,000 or maybe even $1,500.
Yeah.
That got matched. And people were so generous. It was insane.
Yeah.
But we raised it and it was awesome. So Can'dAid completely stands on its own now. It's a lot of private donations. We also have a lot of corporate sponsorships and stuff like that. And now
so what do they do? How do they like come up with what school they're going to? Like do the schools apply, or they just go and like?
So a lot of times the schools are dictated by where the funding comes from. So for instance, like last year we did a bunch of donations around the Dallas area. And it was because a brewery in that area hosted 2 bike builds. So we did 2 bike builds there, and then subsequently donated the bikes around there. And then over the winter time, Merrill came in as a big corporate sponsor. So we did a event in Michigan, and then we donated those bikes in Michigan. So a lot of times,
like when you guys were building all those bikes at Sedona, did you guys like give them out in like Phoenix or something like that? Or
so the one in Sedona was awesome. We did I think we did two bike builds in Sedona, didn't we?
Yeah, maybe 2 different days.
Or maybe we didn't. We did. So the first year we ever did one in Sedona, they built some bikes at McDowell Music Festival, which happened the same weekend as Sedona Fat Tire Fest when we donated those in Phoenix. The cool thing about Sedona was we did the bike build in Sedona, but the school adjacent to the concert ground where the festival is held was a Title I school.
Oh, cool.
So when those kids are sitting in class on Friday and they see all these mountain bikers from all over the country coming to Sedona to ride bikes on their trails, like now they have the opportunity to see what the sport's all about, which is awesome. Yeah. So that was really cool.
Is Reeb like donating bikes too now, or are they just like donating?
So Reeb donates to Can'dAid. So Reeb helps support Can'dAid.
So you said pretty much young kids though, so they're like little like
yeah, these are
kind of like Walmart BMX bikes kind of that you guys are giving out.
So that's actually was kind of cool. So the first donation that I ever went to, they were buying, I think they were actually Huffy bikes. They were just at retail buying Huffy bikes.
Yeah.
And the price that they were paying was close to double what we pay now. And that was because I set them up with a good friend of mine who works for Kent International, which is a big private label manufacturer. You've probably heard of Kent. They do like, if it's not a Pacific biker, it's not a Schwinn, and it's in a mass merchant, it's probably made by Kent.
Yeah. I know,
because people license different names and stuff.
Yeah.
So
you hooked them up with them. Now they're getting their bikes cheaper.
I hooked them up with them. So now the bikes that these kids get are a model that's made specifically for us. It has a really cool geometry.
So cool.
Yeah, it has like a long, low geometry, so it's like perfect for learning.
Yeah.
And then the bikes are branded Can'dAid, and they have a Reeb head badge, and then they have Trail Boss stickers on their handlebars.
Oh, sweet.
And those bikes are red. So if you've ever seen my hardtail, that's usually what I ride at those demos. Like the reason my bike is red is because the bikes that the kids get is red.
Yeah.
So it kind of all matches.
Cool. That's really cool. Because I can imagine being like a first or a second grader and like come seeing somebody like you do a demo and then being like, do they know that they're getting bikes, or you guys kind of like unveil it at the end?
I'd say 9 times out of 10 they have no idea. There's been a couple situations where they have to bring home permission slips in order to get the bikes. So sometimes like word gets out or something, they might have an idea.
But usually they're like watching you do a bunch of tricks, and then they're getting a free bike.
Exactly, and like sometimes we'll set them up like we'll go to the school and we'll put them like in the auditorium behind the curtain or something.
Yeah.
And like we'll do a demonstration and get kids excited about bike riding and ask them if it seems like a sport they'd want to try. And then they like open the curtains and you're like, every one of you are going home with a new bike today, and the kids go insane.
Yeah, awesome. I'm sure, dude. That's just gotta be like,
it's really, really, really awesome.
Yeah, that's just gotta be sick. If you like that, make sure you check out the full episode. And hey, do me a favor, before you take off, hit the like and subscribe.